welcome back to my channel. Before you do anything, hit that big like button. I'm really enjoying doing this series for you, so please do hit that big like button, and that's it. And subscribe if you haven't already. Today I have, to put some clothes on. Damn woman, you're a mess. My last Tattuesday was about my Little Mermaid tattoo, which is on my leg. So I'm kind of on the theme of that. Today I'm going to talk about this one. Wait, no, this one. This one right here. We're talking about my Snow White's Poison Apple tattoo. This was actually the first tattoo I got on either of my forearms. I've had this tattoo about 10 years now, and I got it done by Lucky 13 in Ipswich. It was done by Nick, who now owns Allergic Tattooing, which is, if you're from Ipswich, is behind the Odeon. Really recommend those guys, they're amazing. So he did it about 10 years ago, and it cost me 50 quid. I got some money for Christmas that year, and I decided to get a tattoo, and this is one that I wanted. Now, I originally never ever I planned my whole tattoo thinking life that I was never ever gonna get my forearms tattooed. As you can see, I stuck on that plan. I thought it would make me look butcher than I already am. So when I was first started getting tattoos from like the age of 16, I always planned to get half sleeves. I was a massive fan of a model who had half sleeves, and I just loved the look of it. It looked so badass because it was tattoos, but it still looked very feminine because there was still skin. So I always planned to only have half sleeves. It came to me getting some money for Christmas one year, and I decided that I wanted the Snow White Poison Apple. I already had quite a few tattoos on this arm, and I had quite a few on this arm at that point. I had a gap here. I almost wish I'd have got it here, but I didn't. I don't know why. I remember drawing it on and thinking, okay, it's kind of a girly one, like it doesn't actually look too bad. I'm already like quite chunky, and I didn't want to look manlier than I already do. I ended up drawing it on, I don't know why, maybe boredom. I liked it, I liked how it looked. I thought it went the other way and it feminized my arms, because I got quite chubby arms, which doesn't really show on my camera. They look normal. So that's how I ended up getting that tattooed right there. It's done very well considering it's 10 years old. From the zoom in picture, you can see that the red is very blotchy. Now this was tattooed perfect, like it was tattooed really well. This was my first ever red ink tattoo, and this unfortunately is how I found out that I am allergic to red ink. It really sucks that that's how you find out you're allergic to tattoo ink, is you get the tattoo and it just never heals. It literally took years to heal. It is healed now, but it does flare up if I get really hot, and it becomes very itchy and raised. Only the red bits. Apparently this is quite common. I mentioned this in a video before, and I had quite a few people say that they are also allergic to reds or browns. Some people said yellows. It's just something that is in the ink. But from what I've heard, red is a big one. I think once I figure out what brand I can have of red ink, I'll find a decent tattooist who uses that brand, and I would love to get this gone over. I mean, it's pretty obvious what it is, you can tell what it is. It's just very faded. It's an old tattoo. I am a massive Disney fan, okay? Disney's are a huge part of me. I used to sit in my nana's kitchen and we would read together Snow White on tape, on cassette tape. We're going back some time, and it's now one of my daughter's favourite films, so I still get to watch it even today. My favourite scene is actually where there's the skeleton coming out of the jail and she goes, "Thirsty? Have a drink." Well, wow, you bitch. you put that jug of water like a few inches out of reaching distance. You're a dick. There is one scene actually that I could not watch as a child. I think Snow White's cleaning. It's really lovely, smooth music, and then it just cuts really quickly to the Queen as the evil witch at the window, and she's just like, oh my god, I'm gonna have to split screen. That used to scare the crap out of me when I was a kid. Even now, it doesn't scare me. I'm a grown up, but it does make me go like. Snow White will always have a special place in my heart, as will every single Disney that I watched as a kid. I mean, they helped shape me into the twisted person that I am today. And fairy tales are so dark. I think I mentioned this in my mermaid Tattuesday, which was last week's, that fairy tales are so dark. In the original Snow White, the Brothers Grimm story, I'll find it online and I'll put a link in the description below, but in the original Brothers Grimm story, Snow White eats the apple, dies, passes out, goes in the glass coffin, and the prince comes along through the forest, as you do one hot summer's day, and he sees the girl in the coffin who he thinks is dead, and he insists that the dwarves take her to his house. I'll let you come to your own conclusions there. Sicko. And one of the dwarfs trips over and the coffin, I guess the pressure of it, dislodges the piece of apple from Snow White's throat. She never gets kissed in the original story because consent is important, people. And the evil queen does not fall off a cliff from thunderbolts. She actually attends the prince and Snow White's wedding, where she is met with her punishment for attempted murder, and she is put in hot iron, I say hot like frickin' scalding, burning, coal-filled iron shoes, where her punishment is to dance until she dies. There is an alternative one to Snow White. I'm sure there's hundreds, but I watched one where she wasn't killed by an apple, she was killed by a corset. The old witch was selling corsets and she went round to Snow White's and put her in one and tightened it too tight. There's actually a really good live action film of Snow White called Snow White: A Tale of Terror, where the dwarfs are not dwarfs, they're just outcasts, they're thieves. And the evil queen is played by Sigourney Weaver. I love her. It's a really good film if you haven't seen it. There are many reasons why I love Snow White and it will always have a place in my heart, but the main one I think is because I used to read the story with my nana. No matter what is happening, I can always sit down and relax to a Disney film. They all have a happy ending, so there are just films that I really like to watch if I'm feeling a little bit down. Disney films are the first place I will go. The series Friends, or Friday Night Dinner, or Keeping Up Appearances. Oh, there's so many. That is this week's Tattuesday. I hope you enjoyed my little talk about me Snow White tattoo. I do have another Snow White tattoo, it's on my leg. I will feature that in another Tattuesday at some point, so stay tuned to this channel to follow that story. That's it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Much love, take care of yourself, and most of all, stay weird.